On today's show,
has Gordon Hayward played his last game for the Jazz? And is Kelly Olynyk a dirty player?
the Bucks' Malcolm Brogdon joins us to play a Starters Classic. Spice up your wiki.
And we'll look ahead to tonight's pivotal Game 5 between the Rockets and Spurs.
It's Tuesday, May 9th. The Starter starts now.
Good evening, Sweet World, and welcome to the Starters presented by Jack Daniels Tennessee Honey. Whether you're listening to the podcast, joining us live on NBA TV, or catching us on YouTube, we're very happy to have you. I'm J.E. Skeets, and alongside me, as always, that's Tess Mellis.
Thank you for joining us.
To his right, the international man of mystery, taking it to the max, Lee Ellis.
Friend.
Lily.
Lily, and last, certainly not least, over yonder, it's the bearded one. It's Trey Kirby.
Hey
yo! TK, what do you got?
Well, I'm here at the internet looking for your best tweets at hashtag the starters. And guys, Draymond Green isn't necessarily well liked by opposing fans, but last night in Utah, he won over some of the Jazz faithful. Happened post-game when he wandered over to the crowd and threw his autograph on a Jazz fan's sign. And what did that sign say, you ask? Draymond flop count! That's right. Draymond Green autographed a sign touting his 6 alleged flops in Game 4. And that, my friends, is how you win over fans. And it brings us to today's question. What other signs would Draymond Green autograph? For instance, you could maybe get him to sign a sign that says, Hibbert's kick count. Because I think he would like poking fun at his flailing legs. Or maybe you could get him to sign one that's a dirty players registry, because look at the other classic names on there. Bill Laimbeer, Bruce Bowen, some of the greats. Or maybe you go completely off the board and get him to come out in support of pineapple on pizza, because it's very, very delicious, and I'm sure he would agree. But we want to hear from you, so let us know on Twitter. What other signs would Draymond sign? Send us your best tweets to hashtag the starters. We'll hear from you later.
All right, get those tweets in. We got a fun show tonight. Bucks guard Malcolm Brogdon is going to join us live in studio, and we'll look ahead to tonight's pivotal. Yes, pivotal. It's pivotal, Lee.
It's
Game
only
5.
pivotal when it's 2-2.
It's pivotal. Game 5 between the Spurs and the Rockets in San Antonio. But we start with a little true or false playoffs edition. Trey's got the true or false questions. We're going to debate them. Let's do it.
Let's debate these. The Warriors completed a sweep of the Jazz last night, not too surprising, but perhaps more notable was the way the game ended, with the Utah faithful chanting Gordon Hayward at their soon-to-be free agent all-star, and him throwing up a cool peace sign. Guys, true or false, Gordon Hayward just played his last game for the Jazz. Peace!
No
Or was that
chance.
like a peace, I like you?
No, yeah, I think it was. You guys are great. I think he does come back. I would guess he does. I think part of it is money. The second part is I think he just likes that franchise. I mean, this is just me from the outside looking in. The other part is he's a number one guy. You go elsewhere, I don't know, Boston is a rumor. You're not the number one guy anymore. I think you factor all those in. Plus, you factor in the fact that the NBA landscape has LeBron on one side and Steph Curry on the other side. Maybe the grass isn't greener where you're going to go. Maybe you're just going to lose anyways. Just hang out there.
I think the Jazz are making progress, and I think he wants to be a part of that. He's a huge part of this franchise. And you talk about the Warriors. I look at the Warriors and where the Jazz are now, where the Warriors were before Steve Kerr came in to coach that team. They won 50 games for the first time in a long time. They made the playoffs. You started to see some progression. Then all of a sudden, Steve Kerr came along and they took this huge step. Now, I'm not saying the Jazz are necessarily going to do that, but they've got a good young core who've grown together. Throw in Rudy Gobert. They've got some other young pieces, Dante Exum and Rodney Hood as well. Some of these young guys, if they all continue to develop and progress together, there's no reason, in my opinion, why the Jazz can't be a top 2 or 3 team for the next 4 or 5 years. And then all you need is a break along the way, and perhaps you do get something that opens up in the conference finals. So
I agree. I think this is false, because this is a good Jazz team. And I know they've got some other decisions to make with George Hill and maybe the possibility of looking to move Favors, but they're a good squad. And you said it, Tess, the first thing you said. The Jazz can offer them more money and more years. Honestly, that's usually what it sort of comes down to, especially if your team is decent. And they are. They're better than decent. So if this was a 30, 35 win team, or maybe they even got bounced in the first round of the playoffs and he's like, I want some playoff success, then I could see him maybe thinking of moving. But I think it's false, because he's going to get paid a whole lot of money, and deservedly so. And this is a good squad with Rudy Gobert already locked in, and as his sort of second sort of cornerstone guy there beside him. So
I do think he comes back. One comeback chant that didn't work out well. Comeback T-Mac in Toronto didn't work out well. But I think this one works out better.
Okay, next one, Trey.
All right, through 2 rounds of the playoffs, both the Warriors and Cavs are a perfect 8-0. And it sure feels like at this point that we're going to be seeing round 3 of Warriors-Cavs in this season's finals. Not surprisingly, some people think that's ruining the NBA, but are they right? Guys, true or false? Warriors, Cavs 3 would be bad for the league.
False.
Capital F.
Yeah.
No, true, but leading to false. The true part of this is it makes the playoffs, the last 2 months, or what's going to be 2 months of the playoffs, feel completely pointless. It makes 6 months of the regular season feel completely pointless. That's
Yes.
the true part, the bad part of it, right? Because it's like, well, what are we doing? We're just waiting till June when we get Warriors Cavs. But you're
Yeah.
right, the false part, of course, this is great for the league because we've never had two teams in NBA history meet for 3 consecutive finals, and this would be the rubber match.
And I just hope that they both are healthy if that does happen,
Right.
because both teams could legitimately claim that the title they didn't win was tainted because they had injuries or suspensions and the other team was able to capitalise on that. So this year, I just hope that there's no major drama as far as a player or a team missing one of their starting players or someone getting suspended and turning it, because we need a decider in this series.
Yeah.
We need to see these two heavyweights go at each other to see who really has been the best team over the last 3 years.
Yeah, the playoffs are a touch long. I mean, we're sort of dredging through the muck a little bit here. the days off, the multiple days off in between games, I think we could do without.
Right.
But the fact is, the ratings are going to say this is entirely false. The ratings are going to be great for this finals. They're going to be incredible. I'm going to be watching. I think everyone will be
Right.
watching.
I hope you're gonna be
this.
watching.
And I think
Well, the
yeah,
problem
I'm
is- the
scheduled
problem
to be
is
watching
you-
June 1. June 4, I believe, is game 2. I got it memorized
Okay,
already.
gee, wow, it's amazing. But you see headlines like this, like Yahoo today has a headline: Cavs and Warriors dominance possesses a dilemma. Should the rest of the NBA bother even trying? I mean, there's a lot of these of like, well, what's the point for these other 28 franchises?
Yeah.
That's the bad part.
Right, but I think of
they're
it
so
from a
dominant.
casual fan. If a casual fan knows it's Warriors Cavs, they're going to be tuning in because they want to see. They know that the
Right.
last couple of years of history. Let's say it's not Cavs Warriors and it's one of the other teams that's still alive. I think then you're going to lose some casual fans because they're like, oh, I was hoping to see Warriors Cavs. It's not the case this year. I'm not as interested.
Yeah, we will see. All right, Trey, final one.
All right, the final one's a bit of a weird one. After Kelly Oubre bowled over Kelly Olynyk and was suspended in Game 3, the Warriors' Draymond Green hopped on his podcast, Dre Day, to let everyone know that he thinks Olynyk is a dirty player and that he, quote, doesn't respect guys like that. True or false? Draymond is right. Olynyk's a dirty player. Draymond Green said this.
I think that's a little bit strong. Kelly Olynyk, I think, pushes the boundaries. But I don't know if we have a really dirty player in the NBA right now, because you can't get away with anything in the NBA. Flagrant fouls, as Kevin Durant said, are called for shoves. That's all you really see in the NBA. You don't see anything more than that. I do think Kelly Olynyk, when the opportunity presents itself and maybe I'm going to get my hands up into the neck area of a player, he'll explore that. I do think Draymond Green saying this is a little rich. It's a little much because, he also pushes the rules as much as he could. He flailed his legs when he took a shot to garner a flop call or to garner a foul call. Now it's not allowed anymore, and Draymond Green doesn't do that. He has stopped the kicking motion. Apparently, it's not part of the natural motion, but he used the rules to his advantage. He was getting foul calls at times when he was flailing his legs. I honestly, watching, historically this game, Lee, you can offer your opinion on this. We've seen dirty players in the past.
Yeah.
I think now, the fact that our news cycle is immediate, the fact that we can see a play 1 or 2 seconds later after it happens on Twitter has changed things because we watch it, we pull it up on our phones, the casual fan watches it, and that forces the league office to watch it, and they eradicate it. I don't think anything really, really dirty happens.
And these clips live forever too. Like any time now you Google any Kelly Olynyk, you're going to see these sort of instances like with Kevin Love or the
That's
Kelly.
what Draymond Green is getting at
Yeah.
here, right? It's the incident
tug.
with Kevin Love where
Yeah.
he pops his shoulder out of his socket. I
Yeah,
mean,
and
this is
that-
the play, 2015
that-
play.
that-
That's what Green is alluding to.
Again, they were jostling for a rebound. Kevin Love grabbed Kelly Olynyk first. And then Olynyk grabbed. I mean, they're just jostling in the playoffs.
You don't think there's anything malicious
Oh, he
from
yanks
Kelly?
him,
More,
come on.
Yeah, but he's not saying I'm going to try to rip this guy's arm out.
can
of
you
his
be
socket.
clumsy instead of
Yes,
dirty?
yeah, of course you can. Yeah. I mean, and again,
He definitely yanks his arm.
It's
Let's
an
get that
emotional.
straight.
It's an emotional game. The other guy's grabbing you. Well, I'm going to grab him back like that. I mean, you can't. I think there's more intent behind a dirty player. Someone's like, I'm premeditated. I want to take this guy out. I want to hurt him. I don't think that can be said about Kelly Olynyk.
Yeah, Green says he's out there trying to hurt people.
And I disagree with that.
You disagree
Yeah.
with that. Well, let's hear what people think
I
out
don't
there.
think Draymond Green's trying to hurt people. I think he's also clumsy and careless with his actions.
Possibly. All right.
Hey there, Malcolm.
When we come back, Bucks rookie Malcolm Brogdon joins us live in studio. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the Starters, where we're very happy to be joined by Bucks guard Malcolm Brogdon. Malcolm, thanks for joining us, man.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Appreciate you rolling through the starters set here. We got a whole lot of questions for you. We'll get a fun little game in a little bit, but 42-40 for the Bucks in your rookie season. Some injuries, obviously, to some of your key guys, and Chris Middleton early, Jabari Parker late, but you got to the playoffs, put up a fight against the Raptors. As your rookie season, did it meet or exceed expectations? Do you guys feel like you overachieved, underachieved? So where do you look back on that season?
You know, for me personally, as a rookie coming into the NBA, you don't really know what to expect. But I came into a great situation,
right.
Great opportunity. But for me, it exceeded expectations. I came into an organization that really, valued what I bring to the table, coach that gave me opportunity, teammates that were great with me. And then for the team, I think, our expectations were to make it to the playoffs and make a run. I thought we did that, but still, we had hopes to go further.
Right. You pride yourself on defense, I think it's fair to say. As a rookie, was there someone, when you got matched up one-on-one, where you were like, whoa, this guy's a tough cover, especially in a one-on-one situation? Who shocked you in that regard?
Honestly, I think it was John Wall. Out of everybody, his speed is just something it's unmatched. Growing up, you haven't played anybody with that speed, and then in the NBA, there are no other guards that are as fast as he is. So his speed will really catch you off guard.
How cool was it to see your teammate Giannis Antetokounmpo take that next step, that crazy leap to a superstar? Probably going to win Most Improved Player of the Year, and rightfully so. Was it cool to see him, as the year went on, become more and more of a leader, more of a star? And will he be dunking from the three-point line anytime soon, or does he do that in practice? I mean, be honest with us here.
I mean, Giannis does amazing stuff every day. So when he did that, people on my team, we weren't shocked. We see him do stuff. He dunks on everybody in practice every day. So, he's a guy that works really hard. I think that's something that might go unnoticed with him. He's a crazy athlete. You see all the amazing things he does on the court, but he's an extremely hard worker, and he sets the example every day in practice.
Now, I know you asked the Bucks to donate any sort of campaign to try and get you Rookie of the Year. Donate that to charity, and that's an unbelievable thing. But I want you to remove yourself. Let's say you're not in the NBA. Who would get your vote for Rookie of the Year? Because you're obviously going to be one of the nominees. You're on the short list. You're in the running. Are you going to go to the award show
See
first
at the
off?
award show.
We'll see.
Come on, Drake's performing. You gotta go.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's still I'll probably be there, but in terms of who would get my vote,
Yeah.
it would probably be Dario off the Sixers.
Okay.
I think Joel Embiid is great, but I think he played 30 games. I think that's
Okay.
tough to give him that award. But I thought he was great all season.
Okay, good. You're like your honesty with us. All right, so when we knew you were coming on, we did a little research on you, and we got some great stuff from your Instagram account, newspaper articles and stuff like that, but we hit your Wikipedia page, and there wasn't a whole lot on Malcolm Brogdon's Wikipedia page. So that's why we're gonna play a little simple game here called Spice Up Your Wiki.
Let's do it.
Okay, now
Let's do
Lee,
it.
you're gonna
Yeah.
take some notes here.
Got it here.
All right?
Pen, paper, I'm ready to go.
Wow, old school.
Yeah,
We're going old school
yeah.
with this. All right. So first one. Now we know the answer to this, but let's get it official. What's Malcolm Brogdon's go-to nickname?
Ooh, it's the president.
It's the president.
It's the president,
All right.
yeah.
Okay. What is the story for those that don't know why you're called the president? How'd that come about?
In college, I think people used that nickname a little bit, and then when I got to the NBA, it really started in the draft combine interviews that I had with teams. After I would come out of those interviews, the teams would start calling me the Mr. President. Well, you have my vote in 2020. They'd say stuff like that. So that name sort of stuck. People talk about how I speak, how I look, and
How you dress.
how I dress. When the former president Barack Obama was in
Right.
the presidency, they thought it applied.
We just need you to do the thumb. That thumb move that Barack did. All right, next one. Okay, we got that down, Lee?
Yeah,
Okay.
got it down.
Okay.
The president, yeah.
Favorite NBA player of all time?
I think it's Isaiah Thomas.
Isaiah
All
Thomas.
right.
Zeke,
It's always
the OG.
the OG. It's always been him. Always loved how gritty he was, how tough he was, and then he was just, he was an amazing player that always got knocked for whatever.
You're not just saying that because you're on Game Time with Isaiah Thomas,
Absolutely
right?
not.
Okay, I just want to
Absolutely
check.
not.
All right, next one here. Most used emoji.
It's the sad face, the face that's like.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I use that face a lot.
Okay.
Just to rip people on their jokes or what? Like
Right. It just means I'm upset or I'm disappointed.
All right, got that.
Tough critic.
Now, did you draw that, Lee, or did you just write
I
that?
did both. I wrote sad
Okay,
face
good,
and then I
good.
did a little draw of it as well. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, smart man. I
Yeah.
trust you. I trust you. All right, next one here. TV show that you're embarrassed to admit you watch. You guys are traveling a lot. I assume you're watching some TV on the road. Is there anything you're like, ugh?
I know for a while, I think Orange is the New Black, the one I used to watch the first season.
Okay.
And I'm a little embarrassed about that.
Okay, that's
all right.
a good
Yeah.
show.
First season.
It's a
Fell off
good,
little bit,
it's a
right?
good show, but it's not a show people would think I watch.
Well, it's on your Wikipedia page now. So
You watch the best season, anyways.
Right.
Okay, next one here. What's your hidden talent, if you have one? Do you have a hidden talent? Like a party trick.
Ooh. I'm a pretty good fisherman.
Interesting.
Yeah, yes.
How does one become a very good fisherman?
Practice. It's practice and sticking with it and years of experience.
So you're a patient man. Is that
A patient man indeed.
okay,
yes.
okay, great. All right, a couple more here. Favorite pizza topping?
Ooh, I keep it simple. I'm a cheese guy. Straight cheese.
Straight
What?
cheese.
Everywhere I
Tell
go,
me.
you can ask anybody I know, I'm just straight cheese.
They must love you in Milwaukee then.
Yeah.
Nothing. Is cheese even a topping?
I think it's a topping.
Okay, all right, hey, look, it's your Wikipedia page. All right, a few more. If you weren't a basketball player, what would you do? What would you want to do?
If I wasn't a basketball player, I would be working for a nonprofit that helped alleviate third world poverty.
Wow.
I can see why they did call you the president.
Yeah.
Great answer. All right. Do you have any superstitions?
Other than little ones, as a player, guys have different superstitions, but for me, it's little things like, did I use the bathroom right before that last game when I played really well? Should I do that again? It's little things like that, so it's a constant battle in my mind.
I think we read somewhere or saw somewhere that you might yawn before games too.
Oh yeah, it's not a superstition. It's something more that my body does to calm my nerves. Whether it's when the starting lineup's coming out, when I'm about to go to be subbed into the game.
You yawn.
I yawn.
Lee does that before every show.
We must have something in common.
All right, final one. If you were running for president, and I really think you could one day, I think that might happen, what would be Malcolm Brogdon's campaign slogan?
That's a tough one.
That
You put
is-
me on the spot.
Well, you're going to be asked the tough questions when you're the president.
Yeah.
Let's see.
We're getting you ready.
I got to get back to you on that one.
The buck stops here.
That's a good one.
not
I
bad.
like that.
That's not
Put
bad.
that down.
Write
Put me
that
down.
down. Malcolm, we can't thank you enough for coming on the show, man.
Thank
we
you.
really appreciate it. Good
Thanks a
luck
lot.
next year, and fantastic rookie season. You were my rookie of the year vote, by the way.
I appreciate it.
I don't get an official vote, but you were my rookie of the year vote on
I
the
appreciate
starters.
it.
Malcolm Brogdon, guys, we got to take a break. Lots more still to come on the starters tonight. When we come back, we're going to take a look at tonight's pivotal, yes, it's pivotal, Game 5 between the Spurs and Rockets. Don't go anywhere.
The Starters on NBA TV is brought to you by Jack Daniel's Tennessee Honey, proud partner of the NBA. Do your friends proud. Please drink responsibly.
40 games in 40 nights, only one tonight, but it's pivotal. Why are you laughing, Lee? This is a pivotal Game 5.
You know, if it was 3-1, you would say whichever team has a 3-1 lead has a stranglehold.
That's right. Now you get it. Pivotal Game 5, series tied 2-2. Rockets Spurs, that's on TNT tonight. Little look ahead. Trey, you got a question heading into this pivotal game.
Yeah, this game's pretty pivotal. So after Nene got injured, the Rockets ran away with Game 4 when Mike D'Antoni started Eric Gordon for Ryan Anderson in the second half. They're running that lineup back tonight. So is starting Gordon over Anderson the right call?
I found the timing of this announcement a little weird. 7 hours before game time. Usually they wait till the last minute.
Right.
What's going on? I do believe that the Rockets are trying to goat the Spurs into going after offensive rebounds because that means they can get out on the break a little bit. I think that's where this series lies. You get out on the break, open threes, Rockets feel good. That's how they win this basketball game. And Ryan Anderson, to me, it doesn't really change anything for the Spurs because, him coming off the bench, because he plays like a small anyways. So, I mean, they're going to be ready for everything that is thrown at their way.
Yeah, I think Mike D'Antoni's plan here is pretty simple. Let's just see if we can outshoot them, outscore them, and if those threes are falling, it really does play into Houston's favour because we know that the Spurs can't quite match them in that regard. They might be able to match them inside as far as getting a lot of 2-point baskets, but if Gordon, Ariza, James Harden, and Anderson when he comes out, if they're all knocking down 4 or 5 threes each, it's going to be tough for the Spurs to beat them.
Yeah, this series was always sort of the big defensive-minded Spurs against the smaller, fire-away offensive Rockets. And now this is just more pronounced with the Nene injury and the idea to go put Gordon into the starting lineup and have Ryan Anderson be the backup big. I love it. If the Rockets hit 23s, then they're going to likely win.
Yeah.
And they, when they've hit 41 in their 2 wins. They've only hit 23 in their 2 losses. They're going to bomb away, and the Spurs are going to try and run them off the line. And you're right, Taz, the transition points will be huge. So makes sense for D'Antoni to stick with it.
Big game for Kawhi tonight.
We'll see if
Lock
Pop
it
can
in.
counter for sure. All right, final break. When we return, VSP. You're watching The Starters, presented by Jack Daniels, Tennessee Honey. Back with The Starters, we asked you guys, what other signs would Draymond Green sign like he did last night in Utah? You hit us up on Twitter, #The Starters. Trey, you got a few of the best answers.
Yeah, some good ones. This one comes from Huey, who says, Flat Earthers sign here. Not bad. Rohan says, Draymond would sign a Rudy over Draymond for DPOY sign. I do think that's true. My favorite comes from Jackson, who said a sign that said, it's a natural movement. He would.
The kick.
He definitely would.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Lee, who gets the very solid play?
Well, as we bid farewell to the Utah Jazz for the season, we can sign off with an all-Australian boomerang. Here's Dante to Joey Ingles and then back to Dante and a beautiful layup finish. I mean, I couldn't have scripted it any better, really. It's just beautiful.
So
little
true.
bounce pass, another little bounce pass, and then a lovely finish. That's what I call a very solid play.
Goodbye. Goodbye to the Utah Jazz. It was a great season. Now it's time for a segment we call Fan of the Night, but I think we should just call it Some People Dancing. Because that's what we're getting recently.
All right. What do we got, guys?
Couldn't have scripted it any better.
Yeah, I think you could have. Stockton and Stockton.
The John Stockton jersey seems to be the go-to for guys who want to dance and
Yeah, because they want to wear the small shorts.
Yeah, it's all about the shorts. You got to wear the jersey to get the shorts.
Okay, they're committing to it. Gotta give them that. All right, we had a blast with this morning's Twitter show. It's up on iTunes, Google Play, our website. Got into all of the series and a whole lot more. And Trey gave us his top 5 rapper athletes.
At number 5.
2 Chainz!
Only at number 5.
Only at number 5.
Wow.
We got some heavy hitters coming up here. Number 4, Dirty Nelly.
Oh, yeah.
Number 3, kind of a surprise, Riff Raff.
No.
he looks pretty crazy. Number 2, Wale. Number 1, though, no surprise.
Jadakiss. No?
It's Quavo. There's a clip of him throwing a football like 30 yards into a basketball hoop.
Oh, there it is. Lee, we got a fan sign.
Yes, we do. This is David out in Washington. Had a very unsolid suspension there for Kelly Oubre.
What a great
So,
sign.
Really good job there. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. We're not finished with fan
what
signs.
happened in the playoffs?
Yes, it's dried up a little bit.
All right, guys, we'll be back tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Thanks again to Malcolm Brogdon for swinging by.
Thank you for joining us, folks. And remember, TV editing makes things look good.
Race the night, people.